28 weeks later might be one of the most avoidable outbreaks in any zombie movie. The rage virus was gone. As seen at the end of the first movie, the infected were starving to death. Quarantined, contained, the UK was empty, and now people were finally being let back in. Things were under control until one mistake, and I mean absolutely stupid mistake, changed everything. My name is Brandon, and today we're covering 28 Weeks Later, directed by Juan Carlos Ferrandillo, with Danny Boyle producing after directing the original 28 Days Later. This sequel shifts the tone, it's faster, and to me a lot more fun. The infected are back, and this time it's in the middle of a repopulation effort, with families being reunited, civilians returning to London, and American forces overseeing everything. It feels safer until, well, it absolutely isn't. What starts as a hopeful return quickly turns into one of the fastest collapses in any zombie movie. All because of one guy, one stupid decision. What stupid decision? Well, let's figure it out and jump into the movie. The movie opens up with couple Alice and Dawn making a nice dinner during the early days of the rage virus. Alice worries about their kids, who went on a trip to Spain when the outbreak started. Dawn assures her they are okay, and calms her down with some tonsil hockey, when fellow survivor Sally interrupts.
Not interrupting, am I?
Jeez man, just let them do their thing. The cottage is shared with other survivors, Jeff and Snoopy Sally, Jacob, and Karen, who is having a hard time since her boyfriend left and hasn't returned. Their meal is quickly interrupted by some banging at the door. Dawn, being hesitant, finally agrees to open the door when they hear it's a little kid. They let him in and give him some food to munch on, when he tells the fellow survivors about how his infected family was chasing him and trying to kill him. Karen checks if the coast is clear when she is startled by an infected who breaks through the boarded up windows and bites her arm. Jacob pulls her back, but it's too late. She's infected. She tries killing Jacob, but Dawn steps in and kills her with a crowbar. Dawn stays back and tries fighting them off while the rest of the crew run to get away. But that's gonna be a little tough when the infected are breaking in through everywhere. Alice and the little boy run upstairs, while Jacob and the elders seek refuge in the barn. Jeff tries holding the door shut to allow Jacob and Sally to climb to the hayloft, but is quickly overwhelmed. The infected get to him and Sally before she can climb the ladder, Jacob unfortunately having to close the hatch on both of them. Back at the house, Dawn gets chased upstairs while trying to find Alice. He begs her to leave with him, but she refuses. She can't leave without the little boy. She finds him hiding in a closet, but before they can get out, the infected break in and separate them. Then Dawn makes a choice, a very controversial one at that. He decides to save himself. He slams the door, locking Alice inside, and escapes through a window. He looks back just once, catching a glimpse of her being dragged away. With an amped up version of In the House and a heartbeat playing, Dawn takes off. He doesn't look back again. He runs to the dock, where Jacob is trying to get the boat ready. Dawn jumps in, but Jacob slips and falls into the water. The infected get to him in the water, and he quickly turns. Dawn kicks him away and manages to escape the disaster. Wow. What an intro. One of my favorites of all time. The way it's shot, you really feel how fast everything falls apart. And then that decision he makes, slamming the door on Alice, it's crazy. I get why people argue about it. What do you think? Do you think he made the right call? Or was he completely in the wrong? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We then get a timeline of the outbreak. The infected have died off from starvation, and American-led NATO forces have moved into London. Mainland Britain is officially declared virus-free, and now they're working on rebuilding and repopulating the area. And that leads us to, you guessed it, 28 weeks later. American forces are beginning the repopulation efforts, despite still having quite a bit of cleaning up to do. The latest refugees arrive, where we follow Tammy and Andy through the processing phase, then boarding a tram to a small island known as District 1 that has been cleared for living. We find out that these are Dawn and Alice's kids, as they are reunited for the first time since before the initial outbreak. Dawn's clearly done well for himself since everything's happened. He's a section officer and lives in a pretty sweet penthouse. The kids love it, but address the elephant in the room.
What happened, Dad? To Mum?
They have a sit down where Dawn mostly tells the truth, but he lies about one thing. He says there was nothing he could do for Alice, that she was killed by the infected. He gets emotional thinking about it, clearly weighed down by the guilt of leaving her behind. Or maybe just to fool these kids, who knows. Meanwhile, the American forces are keeping a close eye on things. General Stone, played by Idris Elba, watches the civilians through surveillance cameras set up around the city. During this, Scarlet brings up her concerns. She's frustrated that no one told her kids were coming in, especially since they haven't made any preparations for minors. Scarlet is played by Rose Byrne, who you may have seen from Insidious all the way to her comedic roles in films like Neighbors. She's also worried that the infection could return. Stone brushes it off and tells her that if it does, they'll activate Code Red, which basically means killing anyone who's infected. That night, the military is keeping watch, with snipers posted around the city. Sharpshooter Doyle, played by Jeremy Renner, scans the apartment buildings through the scope of his rifle. He spots a couple arguing, another doing the do, Scarlet sitting alone, looking exhausted, and Dawn tucking in his kids for bed. But that tucking wasn't good enough, as Andy wakes up from a nightmare about Alice tearing her face off. He tells Tammy he's scared he's going to forget what their mom looked like. She tries to comfort him, plotting to sneak to their old house and find a picture of her the next day. At first sunlight, they head out, sneaking past the security checkpoints and running free, though Doyle notices and radios it in. Finding a scooter and riding it deep through the streets of a rundown London, they finally arrive at their house. Getting the spare key in the garden and going inside, they find a picture to always remember their mother. After some trampoline shenanigans, Andy goes upstairs, finding maggot-littered food, trash, crosses on the wall. Oh, and what's that? It's Alice. The feral mother reunites with her boy, hugging him just a bit too tight, causing Andy to run away and go outside into a group of heavily armed soldiers, ready to take them back to District 1. Alice goes through a sanitizing shower, standard protocol for anyone coming in from the outside. The real concern shows up in Scarlet's tests. Alice was bitten, and the virus is in her blood. She's an asymptomatic carrier, meaning she can still spread the virus to other people. Scarlet debates with Stone about using this as an opportunity to learn more about the virus, rather than just shooting and eliminating her. He agrees to let her do her testing. Meanwhile, Dawn's relieved to hear that the kids are safe.
Oh, thank God, thank you so much.
Oh, and Alice too. He goes to check on the kids, and understandably, they are tad upset. He tries to backpedal, saying he never technically said she died, but they're not buying it. After striking out with them, he swipes his all-access card and heads off to see Alice himself. You can tell he's been carrying a lot of guilt, but is genuinely glad to be with his wife again, and she's happy to see him too. And they share a good old virus saliva swapping kiss. Lots of saliva too. Dawn pulls back suddenly. He begins convulsing in agonizing pain, spewing up blood and quickly turning into a rage infected, as Alice watches in fear. It's honestly a great performance by actor Robert Carlyle. In one of the gnarliest scenes in the duo of films, Dawn starts beating Alice to death, punching her repeatedly, biting her throat, and proceeding to pull a gem and gouge her eyes out. You think they're gonna continue that trend going into 28 years later? I'd like to see it. Anyway, after that very stupid decision by Dawn, we get a cool follow cam as he goes to attack and kill soldiers throughout the camp. When Stone notices a dead soldier on the ground, he quickly executes a code red. The soldier overseeing the kids in quarantine goes to check out what's happening, but quickly busts back in as an infected. Lucky for them, Scarlet headshots that fool. She releases them and guides them through the facility. When the military rejects Scarlet to leave with the kids, Andy is pulled away by the crowd and put into the containment center for civilians. They're all locked in there until further notice. The military shuts off all the lights, and Andy goes to find a corner to himself when he sees his infected father pounding on the back door. He breaks in, having a stare down with Andy before attacking and infecting a bystander. Andy tries to warn everyone, but it's too late. Dawn and the other newly infected start taking over. Panic ensues when Andy finds a vent to climb in and get out of the chaos. The people desperately try to get out and eventually break through the doors to leave the overrun room. People start pouring into the streets, and Andy climbs out of the vent, slipping into the crowd. The military tries to contain it, taking out infected wherever they can, but it's spreading far too fast, and Stone makes the decision to abandon selective targeting. Therefore, the soldiers are now forced to kill any and everyone, infected or not. Doyle, stuck in a moral dilemma, saves Andy from being bit rather than killing civilians. Right after, he watches his fellow sniper get overwhelmed by the infected on another rooftop and puts him down. Andy runs into a warehouse, reuniting with his sister, Scarlet, and a few others. Doyle arrives and offers to help get the survivors to safety. He contacts his pilot friend, Flynn, who warns that the military is about to firebomb all of District 1. With only 4 minutes until the strike, they begin their escape. Along the way, snipers pick off some of their group. Taking cover, Andy decides to act as a distraction, running in zigzags, giving Doyle enough time to take out his former sniper teammates. The group reaches an underground tunnel just as the firebombing begins. Flames quickly spread through the entire city, consuming both survivors and infected alike. like. With the fireball racing toward them, the group manages to escape before getting engulfed. Though the city may be destroyed, a large group of infected manage to escape into London. The group takes a breather at Regent's Park, and Scarlet tells Doyle she thinks the kids might carry something in their blood that could lead to a cure. Their conversation is cut short though when Flynn interrupts, informing him about a large infected horde converging on their location. Flynn goes to give him a lift, but refuses to take the civilians. It attracts the nearby horde, causing Flynn to turn them into a meat smoothie. It's a pretty awesome scene, definitely one of the most memorable. And sorry, I really wish I could show this, but you know how YouTube is. Flynn reroutes the pickup location to Wembley Stadium, causing the group to run back into the city when they run into chemical gas clouds that the military is rolling in. They take cover in a car, but it's having trouble starting. Needing a push, Doyle gets out and gets it moving. But flamethrower-wielding soldiers burn him to death before he can make it back in. R.I.P. Doyle. Scarlet floors it when a military chopper spots them and starts hammering them with bullets. She manages to make it to the London Underground, where they ditch the car and go on foot in the dark, using Doyle's night vision scope to make it through. Trying to walk through a load of corpses, Tammy and Andy both tumble and fall. As Scarlet goes to help them up, she runs into Don, who takes the rifle and beats her to death with it. He then sets his sights on Andy and tackles him to the ground, then biting him. Tammy yells for his attention and shoots Don as he darts at her, killing him once and for all. Tammy goes to aid Andy when she sees his eyes doing that infected thing that their moms did. He's immune. They make their way to the abandoned Wembley Stadium, where Flynn is waiting. Unsure of taking the kids, he decides after everything they've been through, he might as well help them finish off what others gave their life for. They fly off together, leaving the burning city behind and heading to Europe. 28 days later, we get one of the biggest cliffhanger endings ever, with a group of infected emerging in Paris, revealing that the rage virus has spread beyond Britain, and the movie ends. Let me know what you thought of 28 Weeks Later. Did you like it? Hate it? Was it better than the OG 28 Days Later? Let me know down below. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy 28 Years Later in the theaters, and I will see all of you in the next video.